Yo! Okay, computers, right? Technology. We're all fans of this thing, and also we all have brains, right? I think most of you watching this probably have a brain, and we also like to compare ourselves to technology a lot of the time, right? There's so many people that are like, what is the frame rate of the human eye? Spoiler, there isn't one. That's not how human brains work. And also, what's the resolution we see at? Also, not really a thing. There's not a specific resolution the human eye works off of because our little biological eyeballs do not have camera sensors behind them. That's not how it works, but still fun to hypothesize, and we can kind of speculate based on when can we no longer tell the difference when it comes to frame rate and resolution? Do we reach a certain point where we can't even see? Well, depends on how far away you are from the screen or how much of the screen is covering up your eyes and that kind of thing. That's why VR headsets have high resolutions. Anyway, we always talk about that with vision and memory. Some of us talk about how many terabytes of storage does the human brain have? A few studies have tried to give you answers for that. It doesn't really make much sense because it's like, oh yeah, remember that time when I was sliding down a slide at the park when I was a child? Yeah, that memory is not 900 megabytes. I don't even know if you can measure it like that. Either way, something I don't see brought up very much is RAM. We don't really question ourselves much on what is the RAM of the human brain. In other words, what is our basic short-term memory? Like, how many things can we be focusing on simultaneously? So I guess this kind of spills into what kind of processor does the human brain have? A neural engine, right? This is going nowhere fast, but you're still watching, which I appreciate. But I honestly, genuinely feel like some human brains have more RAM than others, which, doesn't sound like it makes sense, but seriously, there have been people in my life that I'm not saying are dumb or anything. I just noticed that while they may be very productive or get a lot of things done, they need to focus on one thing at a time, and it's fairly difficult for them to be constantly multitasking between multiple different devices, or if they're writing something, they can't really be listening to what someone else is saying, and some of us are naturally better multitaskers than others, and I often wonder to myself, how much RAM does my brain have? Because I feel like when I'm editing a video and watching a video at the same time, I'm cutting up with the jump cuts and I'm simultaneously watching someone else's live stream or watching an edited video of some kind talking about a different subject, I'm able to tune in to that subject, hear what they're saying, and be thinking about it, and simultaneously I'm also clicking buttons and using my magic mouse to make all the cuts in the right places and delete the right things, and that makes me think, well, right now I have a very high RAM usage in my brain, and the primary reason I was thinking about this recently was because me and Louise like to take these little breaks. It's one of the nice perks of her working from home is that she gets, 2 10-minute breaks throughout the workday and also a 30-minute lunch. And oftentimes on those breaks or on those lunches, we kind of step away from our computers for a second. We'll either sit on the couch or we'll snuggle in bed and just be like, let's just relax for a second, not think too much about work. And it's been very helpful. In fact, it gives me time to refresh and kind of come back to a project clean if I take little breaks throughout the day. And it's probably just good for you to look away from computer screens from time to time. But I'm wondering how many times I've tried to push this one piece of my hair back because my hair is too long. Keep a counter going, Someone who watches this video very closely, comment at the bottom how many times I've brushed my hair back. I know I'm doing it a lot. But anyway, when I go lay down or when I go take a break, my brain feels overworked or overstimulated to a certain extent. I will be doing all kinds of stuff between Discord, Twitter, editing, watching a video, watching a live stream all at the same time and trying to keep up with all this different stuff. And I think my brain just becomes haywired, and I'm used to using, probably 12 to 16 gigs of RAM when I'm doing all these things at once. And then when we stop and it's suddenly relaxed and not doing anything, I become hyper-focused. I'm just thinking around well, what are we going to do tomorrow? And I'm trying to have a conversation with Louise, but at the same time I'm thinking, what am I going to do for my next video? What am I going to do for that? And it's the available RAM in my brain is still scoping. It's still what else can I be working on? I'm talking to my wife right now, but what else could I be planning? What else could I be working on? And am I comfortable right now? And my brain is just reaching out, trying to do more things, but then can't find anything to do. So that kind of forces me, it's like a mental exercise. It forces me to be okay, you're doing nothing, all right? Don't think about anything else. Just focus on the here and now. Just think about what you're doing right this second. And then, you can truly relax, restart or whatever. And that's when my RAM consumption goes way, way lower. Same thing when I'm watching a movie. There are certain times if a movie's not very engaging or interesting that I'll be watching it and I'm following what the characters are saying and I know what's going on in the plot, but in the back of my head, I'm also daydreaming about, I wonder what that would be like for a video, or I wonder wonder what life will be like a year from now or 5 years from now, but I'm still like watching and contemplating the movie. You know, I'm utilizing those extra RAM sticks in the back of my brain. But sometimes if a movie is really engaging and very interesting, my RAM usage probably drops down to like 1 gig, because that's when I'm watching a movie or a show and I'm literally not thinking about anything else. I can briefly even forget where I am for a second. I kind of disconnect myself from, oh, I'm sitting on the couch watching a TV. I'm just so engaged and I'm just focusing on this plot and what the characters are saying, and that's it. There's nothing else going on up there. And basically, if you zoomed in on my brain, you would just see the carton of milk tip over like in SpongeBob. But I don't know, this is a very vague subject, which I'm glad we have the vlogs for now, because this is where the inner workings of Drew's brain goes. And while we definitely think about how much storage does the human brain have, or what's the frame rate or resolution of our eyes, we don't talk much about the RAM consumption. How many things can we be doing simultaneously? And I'm curious with you guys, like, how many gigs of RAM do you think you have? Are there certain times of the day where you feel like a 32 gig of RAM user, or are there other times of the day where you're just down to 1 or 2 and you're like, I can't focus on that right now. I can only focus on this, because, you know, RAM does not impact the speed or efficiency at which you work. Maybe efficiency a little bit, but it's more impacting like how many things you're doing at the same time. So certain jobs, certain tasks require a lot of multitasking, some don't. So that's your little food for thought for today. Okay, here's the food. Open wide. There it is. Now your brain is full on food for thought. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.